What do we got here? Looks like we got a pork shoulder and skin off already. Welcome to the Patreon. You like that new Victory style knife? That was thanks to Davidson's Butcher Supply. You're gonna score. This is a artisanal way to break down a shoulder. Even though I work in a processing plant, I just figured I'd show you the practical way to do this. If you're doing it at home, mousetrap that real quick. Score. Because you don't want to rip the meat with the saw when you do it. Always push with the saw. That finger technique is how I've learned to do things. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe you're not comfortable doing that. Now I'm going to find the joint and then saw in the back. Expose that joint. That beautiful pink-handled Victory knife, courtesy of Davidson's Butcher Supply. And if you're new to the Patreon, welcome. And if you're a continuing supporter, thank you. This helps me afford my practices, especially now that my company may be closing. So that's exciting. Alright, gonna bone dust that. That's a colorful display I have in my scabbard right now. Now I'm gonna remove the sternum and crack through that cartilage. Not going too deep. I don't want to ruin the muscle underneath. I'm going to remove some of this little meat right there just to get our yield. Then it's going to peel nice. Flip that knife around and there you go. There is our sternum off of our pork breast, which if it was beef, it would be brisket. Now I'm going to saw, getting the angle right because I don't want to cut into the meat too much. I just want to go straight through the bones. Get that separation. Now I'm going to find the joint between the butt and the picnic. Do a little bit of knife tip work right here to get that joint. A little bit. You can see in there. I want to thank my coworker Chad, who's not a member of the Patreon, but he was lucky enough to watch me do this. So you're welcome, Chad. There we go. Alright, getting that. It's off. Picnic's off. I will deal with the picnic in a moment. I'm gonna just square up. It wasn't as clean as I wanted. It's fine. Alright, let's do some shoulder steaks. Gonna cut the bone, get a straight line down, and I'm going to cut these by hand. Usually you'd use a bandsaw, but let's say you're in a situation where you don't have a bandsaw. I'm going straight, not with the rib, straight with the squaring up of the shoulder. Some places call these shoulder steaks when they're cut big like this. Some people call them Kansas City pork shoulder. Don't like that. I prefer just country style. A lot of people think country style is when it's split in half. So just cutting through that spine and rib, angling the saw to meet the bone without going through too much of the meat, because I want to, let's say I'm in an artisan case and I have people watching me. I can take my breaking knife, which is a Victorinox knife. I'm going to cut down to the blade bone on all of them. Deep scoring. Now this isn't practical again if you're in a fast-paced working environment. Luckily I have the luxury to do this from time to time. Doing that finger technique, reaching through the blade, just sawing through that blade bone. This one's going to be a little bit deeper because the fin on the blade bone, on the scapula. Now, I'm going to cut those off. Set aside the neck for working on later. It's always important to bone dust. Look at that, bone dust. Get it nice and clean. Make that fat look perfect. Just like that. I'm really not a fan of my scimitar right now. I need a new one. It's years old and just horrible at keeping an edge, and probably the thing I use to sharpen it is horrible as well. Love this pink handle knife. Thanks, Keith. Recommend you buy them if you haven't. Even though I'm sponsored by F. Dick with the World Butchers Challenge, which I love F. Dick, and they knives are as good as this. It's just trying something out new every once in a while. Alright, splitting these in half, making some country style shoulder steaks right there. Bone in. Got this picnic. I'm going to pull the Coppa ribs off, just finding that fat, and just rip and grip. Grip and rip. Remove that vein, square up, set that aside. I'm going to remove the pork breast, find that seam. You know, this would be brisket if it was beef. Square it up a little bit. Now this you could season, you could smoke, you could slow cook. I'm going to do, we used to make like a porchetta out of it where I worked. Imagine it seasoned like that, trussed all nice. And we used to do that. Alright? Gonna remove the cushion. The cushion you can make sweetheart hams out of, which is a small, lean, beautiful ham. Set that aside to work out and bone out later. You won't see it in this video because it's boring. Find these seams. This is called a scalped cushion. If it was a clod, it'd be called a scalped clod with all the side muscles and everything removed. That whole thing you can cure. Remove that bone. Set the bone to stock. It's important to get this meat out of here. Most of the bones I cut, I say are for stock, just in case I leave a little bit too much meat on them for the viewer and they complain. I just say, oh, it is actually going for stock, regardless if it was or not. I hope you guys don't judge me on that kind of stuff. Like I said in the Chuck video, it's just 3D tracing. Gotta always go back to a bone. This is the first day I got this knife too, so it's a little awkward. Square up that fat right there. Gonna just make it easier. Square up the butt from the top. That is beautiful trim. Do some nice scoring. Do whatever pattern works, make it tighter or looser. There's a square bone, semi-bone in butt. Alright, here is a butt that I'm going to remove the Coppa out. So get that meat out of there. This one was cut on the bandsaw. You could see that saw mark. You could hear that saw going on in the background. Saw's not on, the company's not making money. Especially when they have me around doing stuff like this. Hear that bone scrape? Ooh, this is such a beautiful sound. Go around. When doing this technique, and you're new in the industry, please wear a belly shield, because every apron I own has a hole in the belly eventually. And my belt buckle has saved me. I make everyone who works for me get a belly shield when they first start off. I do not. I am dumb. When I'm in practice, I have some. Alright, just take some of this egregious meat off. Sell this as pork collar. Bring it back over. Bam. For artisanal, you may want to find that seam. I just want to get the bone clean, then take off the subscapularia. Afterwards, set that aside for later. Remove that fat cap. This is more of a processing paste now versus a artisan. There's that subscapularia that I'm removing. There you got a boneless shoulder roast Coppa roll. You can make Coppa, you can make char siu, you can make a shoulder bacon, you can make a variety of things that I love. I'm going to make just some War Shack steaks right here. If you get the name, that's great. When I see a War Shack steak, what it reminds me of is my parents' divorce and my inadequacies. Now just making some regular steaks.